Google Pest Control Marketer. Grow your business like never before. Call 770-993-0004.
Well, hello, folks. This is Hal Coleman here, the Pest Control Marketer, with yet another episode of Pest Control Marketing.live, the only live streaming internet TV show totally dedicated to helping PCOs and WCOs like you double, triple, even quadruple your business faster than you ever imagined. And I'm here with my guest host, Mr. Online himself, the legendary Mike Stewart. How you doing, Mike?
Hey, it's a great day in the neighborhood, as Mr. Rogers used to say. So I'll quote Mr. Rogers to get the thing going here.
Well, just don't take your shoes off while we're talking.
Well, I'll take my sweater off here.
Yeah.
That's the only shirt I got on. We got to remember, we got to keep this thing so that people listening to the podcast. I was acting like I was taking my shirt off, but I'm not.
Yeah. I'm glad you didn't.
What do you want to talk about today? What's a good subject?
One thing I want to talk about today that we've talked about before, but it just keeps circling back and coming up with my clients, and not only with them, but I see it out in everyday life. We all do. Is I think we even titled a podcast this one time, "The Awesome Power of Free." Mm-hmm. And what free can do for you, and I ride down the road, as I know you do. When I ride through town, I'm constantly looking at signs and billboards and marquees and vehicles and ads and seeing who has response generating ads and who doesn't. And that tells me who's really getting more results from their ads than the others. But, even if you ride down the road and pass a fast food restaurant and there's a sign out front that says free fries with an order, an order of a hamburger, or free apple pie, or whatever, that more people are turning in the driveway to take advantage of that free offer. Anytime you get something free, if you watch the home shopping networks and those ads on the TV, you'll see that they offer free. Buy it now, and you get this free attachment, or whatever, or you get this free set of steak knives. But research has shown that sometimes people will buy the product that they didn't really need the product, or it wasn't all that big a deal, but they bought it because they wanted to get the free thing, because the free thing really spoke to them. And they said, well, I might as well go take advantage of getting this free thing. And so I want to talk about how, you and I, we practice what we preach. If we're talking about referrals to people, we're going to show them our referrals. And if we're talking about free, we're going to show them the free stuff that we have to offer, which is bukus of stuff. I mean, I had somebody ask me one time, why do you give away stuff? In the very beginning, when I was coaching, I coached people for free in the very early days. And I had somebody say, why do you do that for free? Why don't you charge money for it? I said, I will someday. But right now I'm trying to prove my value to people, and prove that paying would be a good investment. And so you're not only proving your trustworthiness and your willingness to put your money on the line rather than their money on the line, but you're establishing credibility and that builds trust. So there's all kind of reasons to give people things for free, or to tell somebody how to do it themselves in some cases. Now, I know somebody said, well, I'm not going to tell somebody how to spray bugs well, let me, if you give you an example here. When I used to work for a pest control company, another pest control company, back before I went in business for myself, this was back in the 1980s. And up here in North Georgia, where we are, we have a lot of homes with crawl spaces. And those crawl spaces, a lot of them, you know, being on red clay soil that doesn't drain very well, they have standing water underneath them after rains, and moisture, and a lot of mold and mildew. And that mold and mildew works its way up into the closets in your home, and you pull out a pair of leather shoes or belt, you got mold and mildew. So we were always encouraging people to put down a vapor barrier, you know, which is just 4-mil polyethylene is what we'd recommend. So when I was doing termite inspections and pest control, I found a lot of these crawl spaces that, in my determination, needed a vapor barrier. So I would talk to the homeowner and say, you need a vapor barrier under your crawl space. Why? I said, well, because you've got a lot of moisture under there. You got a little bit of standing water, but you've got powdery molds and mildews and different things. Smells musty. And are you seeing any signs of mold and mildew up in the house? And a lot of times, yeah, well, as a matter of fact, we do. Under the bed, there's stuff that has mold and mildew. So anyway, we'd established that there's the problem. And I would say, you really need to put a vapor barrier, get a vapor barrier down on the floor, the dirt. And they would say, well, y'all do that? I'd say, we do. And they said, how much do you charge? I said, well, for your house, it would be $250. And a common answer, $250 to go get a $8, back then it was $8 or maybe $12 roll of polyethylene. $250 to put down a $12 roll of polyethylene? No thanks. I'll do that myself. Okay, so this was a problem. I would tell them how much it was, and then they didn't hardly ever want to do it. So I changed my strategy. I said I wanted to tell them that they didn't need me to do it. So my pitch then became, you know, you need polyethylene vapor barrier. I went through that, and they'd say, well, do y'all do that? I said, we do, but you don't need us to do it. You can do it yourself. Really? Yeah, just go over to Home Depot, buy a $12 roll of you might need 2 rolls of 4-mil polyethylene. Pick up a pair of knee pads while you're over there, because, you know, you're going to be crawling around under there a lot. And go under there. I'm sure you can find a teenager in your neighborhood that can help you do this, because it's difficult for one person. But all you got to do is crawl under there and measure all the dimensions of the crawl space, unroll this stuff out in the yard, unfold it, cut it to the measurements, roll it back up, drag it up under the crawl space, and get it all spread out. You know, I would never get to the end of my story until they would say, what do y'all charge to do that? And I said, we charge $250. They'd say, okay, no, you just do it. Go ahead. You just do it. You just do it. So I would, by telling them that they didn't need me and they could do it themselves, it built a trust there, but it also showed them why we charge $250. You see, so that was a great strategy, and it worked like a charm, giving them free advice. So there are all kinds of variations of free. And I'm sure you have some too, Mike.
Well, I mean, what you just explained there are principles that are across the board. You were willing, without any pressure, to give away valuable, verifiable, trustworthy information. In other words, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm saying that you got a problem and here's a solution. And then when you described all the steps that you had through experience to solve that problem, the value of paying you to do it just shot through the roof. So in other words, you were giving away something free that a percentage of the people go, well, you know, I could probably do that. Well, good. You should go do that, because that person, you know, may enjoy getting knee pads and getting under the crawl. I can tell you right now, from my personal point of view, I'd have paid you $500 to not get under that under that crawl.
Dang, I wish I had you as a customer back when I was selling termite and pest control.
Yeah, the part I wouldn't be telling you is I thought you're too cheap, but that's okay. Yeah. But my point being is then there's that law of reciprocity kicking in, because, well, this guy has shared with me everything I need to know to solve my problem, yet he's not expecting me to spend any money with him. And you know what? He just proved to me the value. So you raise the value. And so I think one of the things that you ought to talk about are some examples that, you know, when you talk to anybody, you got to remember, we used to say on the internet, one of the most powerful words that you could ever put on a website, in an email, or obviously in the real world, when you're talking to somebody one-on-one, one of the most powerful words in the world is free. You know, when you put it in signage, free tickets, free hors d'oeuvres, free means, oh my gosh, I can take it without any obligation. However, there is that subconscious feeling of law of reciprocity, is that when you do, for most human beings, when they get something of value that they didn't pay for, they feel they want to reciprocate. And when you use this in a positive, not in an evil way, you can, with doing it over and over and over again, you can build a lot of different relationships that even if they don't buy from you, when somebody says, hey, I'm having such and such problem, well, you know what? These are really good guys. Hal Coleman, he's a really good guy. I mean, he went out of his way to help me, and I didn't even spend a penny with him. So you got to give him a call, because it sounds like he can solve your problem. See, that's what the law of reciprocity is. It'll make a better referral partner. It'll make a better, it'll potentially close a sale. And it's just not a bad way of doing business. If you get the mindset, I'm never going to give away anything free, because, you know, that's just, I can't be in business giving away stuff free. You got to know the difference between what you can give away and what you should charge for. So why don't you talk about, for PCOs, because I mean, that's who we got here. What are maybe 4 or 5 examples of free things they can give away?
I'll do that. And before I do, I'll tell you, there's a lady that you know, I'm not going to certainly mention her name, and I'll tell you about it after the show. But it used to be in a networking group with me, and she was kind of a coach, and she was actually a hypnotherapist also, and a coach. And she had a training product that she sold. It was a little set of CDs that she sold, and we had a coffee one morning. I said, well, maybe I want to get to know her a little better. And she had listened to some of my stuff. I think just to introduce myself, I sent her, this was back when I still had my pest control business, but I think I sent her a CD that I had done on, I don't know, motivation or something, just to introduce myself, and said, I'm going to call you. Maybe we can have coffee. So we did. And 2 things happened in that meeting that just sent the cold chills through me, and I never spoke to her again after we had our meeting. But one, I said, you know, I thought maybe we could find a way to work together, have some kind of an affiliate partnership. She said, well, I'll tell you right now up front, an affiliate partnership for me would mean you selling my stuff, not me selling your stuff. I thought, whoa, okay. So she said, she told me about her program, her coaching and hypnotherapy program. And she said, you know, you could probably sell this and make a commission with all your connections and everything. I said, I probably could. I said, you know, why don't you give me a sample, give me the set and let me go home and go through it. I need to be familiar with what it is I'll be selling. And her response was, oh, I don't give away my programs. And I said, you wouldn't give me one to go home and study it so that I know what I'm selling? No, I don't give away my programs. And I ended that conversation as quickly and as gracefully as I could. Like, I think I've got to go fight a fire somewhere. I'll catch up with you later. But some people, and I hear them in the pest control business and wildlife business too, they say, look, I don't give away my services. My services are worth a lot of money. I don't give it away. And that's okay if that's your strategy and that's what makes you feel secure and whatever, that's okay. But I'm telling you, if you find ways to give people something, it instantly builds trust. And it also creates the law of reciprocity. Now, an example in the pest control business might be, let's say you went out to somebody's house to do a bid on a termite treatment, and the treatment came out to $850. And you are going around the house and you're doing your inspection, and you figure up all the product and specs, and it comes out to $850. Now you know that you're fixing to walk back into that house, talk to that homeowner, sit down at the closing table, and give them a price of $850, which is a chunk of change for a bug treatment. So if you have a really good presentation, a certain percentage of those, there's a certain percentage chance that that person's going to say yes to you. Go ahead and do it. Go ahead. Where do I sign for the $850? At whatever that percentage is, it's X. Okay. And for those of you who didn't take algebra in the 9th grade, X equals a number, but you just don't know what the number is. Okay. But there's X percentage chance that this person is going to say yes to you for the $850 treatment. But let's suppose that you can notice that you can come up with something to give them for free as part of your proposal. Let's just say that you discover a wasp net, an active wasp nest, or a yellow jacket's nest. Now, if they called you and said, I have a wasp nest, I need you to come out here and take care of it, what would you charge? You know, let's just say you would charge $150 to go to somebody's house for an appointment to eliminate a wasp nest or a yellow jacket's nest. So if you find the nest and you say, before we get started, you go back to the house and you say, before I get started, I've discovered a yellow jacket's nest out here by your patio in the cross ties. You know, somebody's probably going to get stung sooner or later. With your permission, would you like for me to eliminate these things? I'll do it for you. I'm not going to charge you anything for it. I'm here. You know, we normally charge $150 to come out and do it, but I'm here, so I won't charge you anything, but it needs to be done. And they say, sure, go ahead and do it. So you go ahead and eliminate the yellow jackets, and then you finish your calculations and you go back to the homeowner and you say, well, I took care of the yellow jackets, so they shouldn't bother you anymore. Now, here's your termite treatment is, you know, going to be $850. The odds of them saying yes to you just went up because you have initiated the law of reciprocity. You did what you told them was a $150 treatment for them free. Didn't charge them anything for it. So now they trust that you're an honest person and that you're not out there just to try to rip them off, because you just did a free treatment for them. And they feel indebted to you for that, and they appreciate that very much. So now, in their mind, they begin to want to pay you back. How can they pay you back? They can sign the dotted line and let you treat the house for $850. So by doing that free wasp or yellow jacket elimination, you just increase the odds sharply that they're going to say yes to you when you present the $850 treatment. Now you can also tack on free to other services. If you have somebody, let's use some yellow jackets, you know, or hornets or wasps. If somebody calls you and says, I've got a hornet's nest in my yard, I need you to come get rid of it. What do you charge? I talked to a guy the other day. I said, what do you charge to get rid of he was one of my clients. I said, what do you charge to normally on average to get rid of a hornet's nest? He said, $250. I said, okay. So they call you, you give them the price, $250. They say, come on out here and get rid of it. So you go out there, you get rid of it. And you say, now, when they get ready to give you the credit card or write you a check or whatever, you say, before you pay me, now, I need to make you aware of something. If you're into saving money like everybody else is, I know, like I am, and that's the way you say it, like everybody else is, because they do feel like they're into whatever everybody else is in. You know, we establish our identities from groups like that. So I know if you're into saving money like everybody else is, I need to tell you that if you sign up for our annual pest service, our quarterly pest service, which is $400 a year, I'll do this. I won't charge you anything for what I've just done, eliminating this hornet's nest. So that's a $250 savings. So you'll really be getting the annual service. Instead of $400, it'll only be $150. I mean, that's making them an offer they can't refuse. Now somebody says, well, I'm not going to do that. Well, look at what you just got. You got a pest control customer who the average lifespan of a pest control customer is 10 years and spending $5,000 to $6,000 with you. So you just got a $5,000 or $6,000 customer by not charging them for the hornet's nest, which took you, 5 or 10 minutes to get rid of if it was down low. If you had to use a ladder, it took a little bit longer. But by giving them that as an incentive to sign up for your service, now you got another lifetime value customer. You just made them an offer they couldn't refuse by giving them the hornet's nest removal service. Does that make sense? Am I stating that clearly?
Yeah. I mean, the thing that I think people should do is you need to get creative in your business. One of the things we do is with the websites that you and I do for our PCOs, we put in a bold headline. First thing, you'll be blown away by our service. You've got a wording that you've tested for years. You'll get the most absolute, most amazing, shock and awe service, or you don't pay anything. It's free. In other words, we're using the word free as a risk reversal. There are so many places that you can do free. I mean, think about it in the real world. We're free.
Here's a free one.
Well, yeah, and I want to get to that in a second. Hal's book is absolutely free. And it's so full of information that even if you never spent any money with Hal or me, how can you go wrong when there's no risk of downloading or getting something absolutely free? So, I mean, if you think about BOGO, buy one, get one free. I mean, there are so many applications. Amazon Prime, one of the most wealthy online businesses in the world, is all about free shipping. When you pay them $100 a year, you get free shipping all year long. And it's a great deal for the customer. But you know what they want? They want you to make a commitment to them. I've got a law. I'll never cancel Amazon Prime because I get my money's worth out of it. But then they get a guaranteed. They got 140 million people sending them $100 a month, as if they're not, and they know they're increasing the sales of other things by getting people into these free programs. So you just need to get as many applications of inducing the law of reciprocity by giving away enough of yourself. You don't want to give away you don't give away a full service that that you're going to hold $200 every time you give it away free. We're not talking about that. Give away things that are value to the customer, that are just, it's like handing a glass of water to somebody. People look at a glass of water as, well, that's not very, a copywriter years ago says, would you give me $10,000 for a glass of water? And my first answer was, absolutely not. He said, so he said, there's nothing I can do to raise the value of that water to $10,000. And my initial gut reaction was, no, there's no way you can make that water worth 10 grand. He said, your face is burning. Your face is on fire. There's literally flames coming off of your hair. What would you pay for that glass of water now? Well, I'd pay anything to put that fire out. That's what you got to do is you have to raise the value of what you do and think of as many things to create that goodwill of law reciprocity. And I'll tell you, that's what what brought me to want to talk about this week is that we recently had our next level PCO marketing virtual event. And from that event, which was, just a little price of $97 for hours of great information, it gave enough information away almost virtually free. And then what we do on top of that, we're going to give examples of what me and Hal do to give free. We tell people from this event, most of the people that went in that event, they started with something free. Now hold it up again, Hal, for those on the camera this morning. This is what we give away free. Hal wrote this book. Show the side of it. That's a pretty thick book.
It's like 230 pages.
Yeah.
I mean, testimonials on the back that you can read. But, this, I just got an email from a guy a couple of days ago, which I get these all the time. He said, I downloaded your book, and he said, I'm not even half through it yet, and I've already implemented several strategies to help me grow my business. He said, this book is going to help me grow my business in ways that I would have never imagined. He said, I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you giving me this book. I hear that all the time, that, it's not a fluff book. It's not a story book. It's just a book. Here, over 100 proven ideas, principles, tips, and strategies, techniques guaranteed to generate more new customers, more referrals, and more cash for your business. And there's no fluff in there. It's all, here's how you do it. So I hear that all the time. We'll give that book away free.
Well, now I want to make a disclaimer. I mean, if you go to Amazon to get a printed version like the one Hal's showing in the camera there, there's a cost for that. But
and it's on Kindle. There's a cost for that too. But if you want it free, there's the
web address.
Web address should be right here.
Yeah, it's how to grow up.
Everything's backwards on here, so I find it hard to. I'm trying to point at the book over there, but the book is really over here.
Well, there's a way to fix that. Hal, if you go to Wikipedia and look up Technophobe, there's a picture of Hal.
That's right.
But anyway, so this is our model of build, because I had a guy this week that I did a consultation with. He said, why do you give away so much information? And I said, there's two reasons, and these are genuine reasons, and I know it's true for Hal. One, I love helping people. I love seeing things make people's lives better. I figure that even if you don't do business with me and don't spend money with me, I'm blessed because we used to say in one of my meeting groups, givers get. When you just give away, somehow it always comes back. Mm-hmm. It's not only the law of reciprocity, but it's the
karma.
It's that, and it's also a physical law. When you put something in motion, it always comes back with equal motion. That's a Newtonian law. So anyway, we figure if we give enough good stuff of value away, a percentage of people. So that's why we want to give this away. So entry point number one of free that we do is Hal's book. And you can go there. Now, let me tell you, when you sign up for that book, we have a coaching program called Pest Control Marketing Gold.
That's our group program.
That's a group program. And that is the least expensive way to get regular new training and interaction with me and Hal. But how do we do that free? If you take the free book, you have a one-time opportunity after you sign up for the book to get in the coaching program for a free month. No long-term commitment. You can cancel at any time. If you want to download the book and have a free month of the coaching program, you can do it. And you say, well, why would you do that? When if people don't do it this way, well, we want to know, we want you to download the book before we give away a free month of our coaching program. Otherwise, if you don't download the book, you can go straight there and start paying the $47 a month. It's kind of like we're willing to take down the hornet's nest because you're already there anyway.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend that you look at pestcontrolmarketinggold.com. And if you want to get a free month of that, go to howtogrowapestcontrolbusiness.com, download the book, and then instantly you'll have a one-time opportunity to sign up for the coaching program. So we do this. And then, of course, one of the other things, and I'll put our phone numbers up here. Hal is known as the pest control marketer, and his contact information is, he's got tons and tons of information at pestcontrolmarketer.com. but 770-993-0004. That phone number is plastered everywhere because Hal will schedule, if you make a commitment to filling out his form, his questionnaire, you can email him, you can call him, ask him questions about it, but he is willing to spend 1 free hour, to hear it again, there comes free again, to show you how much value there is into his one-to-one coaching. And we've seen so much success by willing to give. Everybody that does it doesn't always buy, but I'll tell you what, people are blown away when they take advantage of free. I do the exact same thing. In fact, just this week, Hal, I had a client who attended our live event at Pest Control, nextlevelpcomarketing.com. And he's questioning. He says, I can't believe. He says, this really touched me. He says, I promise you, the next time we spend any time together, I'm going to make sure you get paid. Now, is that not the law of reciprocity?
Yeah, there you go.
He says, I cannot believe how much free, great information. I helped him name his business. I helped him change his thinking about his website. I helped him understand how to the steps to conquering his local market. And if he takes that information and figures out how to do it himself and does it as well as you and I can do it without us, Godspeed, go for it. But I'll tell you what my experience has been. Things that I do, I can do 10 times faster than the average person because I don't have a learning curve on this stuff. You and I have done it over and over and over again. It's just we're trying to find the people that want to get to know us. You can find out. In fact, I do a live stream at MikeStewart.live where I talk about online things after this show in about an hour and a half. Come to MikeStewart.live at 10 a.m., 11 a.m. Eastern. Every time we do a PCO show, I do a live show to my audience. I do one-on-one calls just like Hal, 770-826-3662. So at the end of the day, you and I are firm believers that when you give enough away of value for free, then the value and the opportunity to offer the things that make you money become much easier and much more acceptable. And you got happier customers because they feel that you really go, it's Napoleon Hill used to say, you got to give 110%. You got to go the extra miles away, Napoleon.
The extra mile formula. That's right. Always. This is what you and I practice, and we preach it. And if you're a PCO or WCO or a roofer or a landscaper or an attorney or a dog groomer or an airline pilot, it doesn't matter if you're in a business. Always give people more than what they expected. That's what Napoleon Hill said to do. Always give them more than what they expected. Give them $1.10 worth of value for every dollar they spend, and they'll never regret it. They'll be happy. The law of reciprocity will be in place. They'll buy more from you, and they'll tell more people about you. And have we got time for another story here?
Yeah, we probably need to wind it up here. Can you believe we've gone 35 minutes?
Good grief. We'll save the story for next time. But yeah, this is just find ways to initiate the law of reciprocity, have people appreciate what you've done for them. And that appreciation brings about the obligation to pay you back. Just like if you came home from a 2-week vacation, Mike, and pulled in the driveway and noticed that your lawn was freshly mowed, and you knew without even thinking about it that your next door neighbor's the one that did it, just so you wouldn't have to mow it when you got home from being tired and worn out from vacation. And he came over and had mowed it for you while he was mowing his. And there you go. The law of reciprocity. The first thing you feel is overwhelmed with appreciation for what he has done for you. And you're more likely to mow his next time or show up with a bottle of scotch or something to show him how much you appreciate it, because you're going to figure some way to pay him back for that nice gesture, and you appreciate it. It just builds a much closer bond between the two of you. And that's just a simple example of how the law of reciprocity works.
Well, with all that being said, we've given out the phone numbers and we've given out the web addresses. I'm going to one last time tell folks, consider this show is brought to you by pestcontrolmarketinggold.com, the group coaching program that has really taken off this year for me and Hal, and by our virtual event, which is now recorded and you can have access to the recordings. The only thing you wouldn't have access to is us being there live. That's why you would want to consider getting the coaching program. And to be practicing what we preach, go to How to Grow a Pest Control Business if you haven't, howtogrowapestcontrolbusiness.com, and get Hal's book. I mean, you can't beat free. And you can't beat the value of that book. That it's changed a lot of PCOs' business and their lives, and that's a reward that I'm grateful for. Is that I feel like we're making a difference in a lot of people's businesses and lives, and we've got testimonials to those effect. In fact, a guy I talked to this week that we did work with 7 years ago said he's 10 times what he was before he started with us. You know, he was $100,000 a year, and he's over $1 million now. And so I know. Good information with good integrity people make a difference. And that's the way you should do your business. That's the way we do ours. And with all that being said, Hal, you got any last words before I play the theme song out?
No, you know, we generally try not to date these shows, but I'm going to date it a little bit. My wife and I both have, have received both of our COVID vaccines. And so we're starting to venture back out now, and we're still being cautious for everybody else's sake. But life is starting to turn a more happier corner here for everybody, I hope. And this next year, the economy is rocking and rolling right now. I talk to my financial guy quite often, and he says it's going to be a great year for businesses. He said it's going to be a great year for the economy this year. There'll be some hiccups, but he said all in all, it's going to be a great year. And I've been knowing him and using him for many, many, many years, and he's generally always right dead on it about stuff like that. So don't listen to the doom and gloomers. Don't listen to the naysayers. Don't listen to the people who are telling you to take all your cash out of the bank and hide it under the mattress and go buy more guns and more ammo and lock yourself in the house and barricade yourself and fill your freezer with all your neighbors' cats. You know, it's going to be a great year for all of us, and especially home service industries like pest control and wildlife control. So celebrate it. And we look forward to all of us having a great year. And thank you for watching our shows and listening to the podcast. Thank you to the people who do take us up on our offers. And thank you to our clients and all the relationships we have. And until next time, thank you for watching this episode of PestControlMarketing.live.
Hal Coleman has been active in the pest control industry for over 40 years.
Google Pest Control Marketer. Grow your business like never before. Call 770-993-0004.